We had some technical difficulties. I had to shut the live broadcast down and restart it. Luckily, we didn't open up anything yet, so we still, you know, knock on wood that no. What it is my camera connection. So when my camera kind of unconnects from the USB, it just cuts the end live stream off. So I need to secure either the cable on this thing or find. But anyway, let's go over the trade again. Just really quickly. Sorry about that. I know Tylux have joined. Tylux, I hope you come back, buddy. Sorry about these technical issues. So again, I was in a trade with Craven Hunts Comics. Go check him out on Instagram, Craven_Hunts_comics. He's got a lot of great deals. He's probably gonna either try to sell my books or whatever. But anyway, I know he got the books. We kind of chatted, sent messages, and I told him I got his books as well, and that I was going to unbox them tonight. So just to go over what I got, I gave up Strange Academy 1, the sketch variant, design sketch variant, Spider-Gwen number 24, the first appearance of Gwenom, Spider-Gwen number 1, sort of the first solo series, and Blade number 1 from the 90s, also the first solo series. So they're big books. I gave up for, in terms of those 4 books, they're probably, around $300 in terms of book trade, book value. And that's the trade value we set up. And I got 11 books for those 4 books. So we're gonna unbox it. Hey, Tylok, sorry about that issue, man. My my camera, the USB, just the connection's not good. So when it disconnects, it just throws my live stream off. And so that's what happened. All right, so we're gonna unbox this now. So I went over the 4 books I gave up, and again, I got 11 books in return. And I was mentioning earlier, I don't necessarily feel I feel good about this trade. It's been a week since the books have gone out, and I've had some time to reflect. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think, yeah, this is a good deal. And the books I'm getting here definitely are books I want. I think if anything, if I'm going to regret trading anything from that deal, it's going to be the Strange Academy number 1. Because I think it has so many first appearances. It's such a big pivotal book, and it looks like it's a well-written, it would translate well to the big screen. So that's the only thing, the only issue I had with, in terms of, if I did have a regret, that would be it. The fact that book is still potentially could be worth way more down in the future, but we're not going to reflect on that now. We've committed to the trade, and so I'm just going to take these out and put them right here, and we'll go over them one by one. Oh, they look. That's the first. So again, we had 11 books, so that's the first sort of mailer. We got a second one. So I'm just going to take this one out as well. So 11, again, 4 books for 11 books. And, again, I've had a week to kind of contemplate. And the more, the more I think about it, the more I'm glad I, did the trade. I think we both got good books out of the trade. So ultimately it's about getting what we want, and hopefully Craven got what he wanted out of the trade. And I know I got what I wanted out of the trade. So it balances itself out. Now, I do want your, thoughts And since Tylox, you're the only one in the chat right now, you can just, chime out what you think of the book. So I think I have everything in the order that I want here. Just gonna see if I can't maneuver things around so that, okay, I definitely want to present these three last. So we'll just pull those up. And so, yeah, I've got three books that I want to the three big books that I want to focus on last, and we'll just go from the top here. Okay. So again, 11 books. We'll start. Let me just count them real quick just to make sure we got the 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, we got 11. Okay. Here we go. So the first book is something we've been wanting to add. We're hoping that we'd run into it at some point. But the only reason I really want to add this book is because of the Jim Lee run on this title. And this particular issue has nothing to do with Jim Lee. Jim Lee didn't really work on this book at all, but it precedes his run by like an issue or so. So it's like, I might as well collect the first, 19 books in this run, because it, just to have that sort of beginning to final, at least have a first issue along with the books that Jim worked on. So Jim started working on Punisher War Journal on the third issue. And so we have a lot of the issues in that run now. And I've been meaning to pick up one, hopefully two at some point. But one was sort of on the radar just because of it's a first issue. And got the newsstand edition. It's it's like a VF. It's a VF copy. This wouldn't be like a 9.8 or any candidate or anything, but really clean, like a nice VF copy, newsstand. Punisher War Journal #1. So that's our first book. All right, continuing on. This next one is this is a variant edition. I thought it was a standard edition. That makes it a little bit more special. This one looks to be in really like near mint condition, so kind of pleased with that. And that is, I'm just wondering if this is the direct edition as well. Hopefully, I would assume it is. War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha. And again, it's a variant edition. I thought this was standard cover, but maybe I'm sure there's something interesting that makes it. That doesn't look. It does look like a different. Anyway, they're saying it's a variant edition. It varies in some way from the standard, so that's kind of cool. I'm gonna have to look up and see what the variant goes for, but I just thought I love Boba Fett. I love a lot of the covers in this War of the Bounty Hunters run. This Alpha one is like sort of the preview, or the prequel to the main story. And I just love, so they kind of show the events after Boba takes Han from Cloud City, and in between then and how the carbonite frozen Han ends up at Jabba's palace. So it's just kind of piecing that series of events and that journey to Tatooine. And look at that cover, man. You got Han and carbonite, and you get all this like action going on here with Boba pulling out this little blaster there and trying to protect Han from what looks like like explosions and stuff. So cool. So this is a key book. Love that cover, and hopefully we, I'm curious to read it because I've always wanted to know, hey, like, what does Boba Fett do? How does he get on to where he's going? So that was the second book. The third book here, we've got Strange #1. And this is Legacy number 417. Great Archerm cover there of the female Doctor Strange. This is just a variant cover edition by Archerm. Yeah, it's not like a huge key or anything, but again, I was just kind of like, we had to get this deal done, and I was just looking through books to add because I had to make up some difference in terms of dollar value. So put this one in there. Beautiful cover. Like, looking at it, it's really mint. So happy to add that to the collection. Cool. All right, so this let's put these bigger books sort of in the back, the more modern books up front. All right, so we had this book in the mix as well. This is Secret Wars 0 Free Comic Book Day. This is, again, I think all these zeros are usually like preview. It's kind of like that alpha I just went over. It's just a preview, kind of setting up Secret Wars. I'm sure there are a lot of copies of this one, but with Secret Wars coming, it's a great cover by Alex Ross. Got a lot going on in this cover. Just kind of like for me, I think there's some legs on this one. It could go up to like a $10 book or something. So just kind of threw in some books there to get the deal going. Happy to add that. This next one is also just key because there was like controversy around the logo, and this is such a drastic turn for the Punisher character in this one. He becomes an agent of the Hand. I think he ends up leading the Hand. And he makes a deal because he makes a deal with the devil to basically what's the word I'm looking for, it to revive or bring back to life his dead family. And so he just turns to the dark side essentially. And so this run is, I don't know, it looks to be a good run. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about it. Obviously, it's ongoing. We don't know how it's going to end, but I'm sure it's going to end. Punisher's probably going to do a lot of bad stuff during this series, but ultimately, it's like he's doing it so that he can bring his family back. But I'm sure at some point he'll realize, like, this is, this isn't what he had signed up for, and he ends up returning and doing right by things. So anyway, picked up Punisher #1, and just a nice cover there. I know this one has a lot of variant covers and stuff, but I thought that cover right there is pretty cool as well. So yeah, I mean, just a lot of sort of modern, how many have we covered so far? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 modern books, a Copper Age sort of a late Copper Age book. So we've got 5 books that we've picked up. All right, moving on. We have Amazing Spider-Man 323. Great Todd McFarlane cover there. Newsstand edition. Yeah. The assassination plot, part 4 of 6. This is definitely one of those like popular comics that came out when I was like kind of in the prime of my collecting in high school. And so I never had this issue. I never actually owned this issue growing up. So, well, happy to add it now. Again, newsstand edition, kind of cool. All right, now we're getting to the bigger books here. And this next one is a pretty cool book. And yeah, Craven said it would be like a 9-8 candidate. And I gotta say, I can't disagree with him. It's a really clean book. Unless there's an issue on the interior back cover or something, but this would definitely grade high. And we got Amazing Spider-Man 394. This is the Death of Craven. Yeah, that's a big book right there. So this was now I wasn't necessarily primarily targeting this book. It's not a book that I had on my want list or it was on my radar or anything. It's just one of the books I kind of in the back of your head because I collect Spider-Man that it'd be nice to own, one of those kinds of things. This one is something I like kind of wanted to own. I know again these are both books I wanted to own, but like I think this was in terms of like if you were to I think rank them in terms of how what we want to add to the collection, this definitely would rank higher. But of course, this is in terms of just significance, it's a more significant book. So happy to add it now. Again, these are both newsstand editions. That was kind of important to make sure I got the newsstand editions. This next one is just, again, one of the books he had, and it had, had good, value attached to it, as well as some spec value to it. And that's Amazing Spider-Man 257. This is the direct edition, but this is the second appearance of Puma and the first appearance of Ned Leeds as Hobgoblin. Now, there's all kinds of rumors, nothing confirmed yet, but there have been like little hints here and there that Ned Leeds would become Hobgoblin in the movies. And so when that happens, this book will probably, it's already spiking because of those hints, but when it gets confirmed and we like see trailers and whatnot, this will, I'm sure, go up in value. So this one's pretty, this one has some issues. It's definitely a VF copy, I would say. But definitely good looking book. It's a grade that for this age, it's completely, it's more than adequate. So 257 first, Ned Leeds Hobgoblin. Okay. So we got 3 more books left. We've gone through 8 books already. The reason there's a dog outside. The reason I pulled the trigger on this trade really has a lot to do with the last three books. All these books that I've introduced so far are nice books. I'm glad, and I'm happy to add them to the PC. Well, I shouldn't say PC. I'm happy to add them to the collection. But some of them I will look to trade or look to sell. So they're not like pure PC books in that sense. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in there that's like within my core collecting identity. Nothing in here per se. They're great books, though. Don't get me wrong. Great books. I think there's a lot of, potential value there. Yeah, but like in terms of like major first appearances and all that, it's a little lacking in that respect, and that's fine. But really, it came down to adding these, and these are books I could have picked up. They're not like terribly hard to find. In fact, I had an opportunity to pick up one of these books. I went back to the LCS, so I had an opportunity to get it. I didn't get it. I just thought, okay, I'll come back for this. Went back and it was gone. But I mean, it's by no means like a really difficult book to track down or buy. It's just, again, just a great book by an artist, one of my favorite artists. And then the other books are also. So here we go. Let's just start with this one here. Just gonna look at the condition real quick. Beautiful condition. Yeah, this looks good. This looks really clean. So yeah, I'm really happy with this pickup. Just gonna put some tape there on the back so it doesn't fall out. And again, this is an artist. One of my favorite artists. I love collecting his books. Really, some of the first like comic books I've read are, were drawn by this legend. So, and he is a legend. There's no question about that. That's John Byrne's Wolverine number 17. Really clean copy, newsstand. This is something I would consider grading. The grade is just very clean. So this is a slab-worthy book right there for me. And we may do that. Okay. That's a big one. That's one of the big ones. I've always been meaning to add that book. And we finally have it in the collection now. So I'm very excited. This is definitely cleaner than my, it's cleaner. And this would grade better than my current copies. So also happy with this. Just on first glance, it looks way cleaner than my current copies. So happy. This next book is a book probably one of the, in my opinion, one of the top covers by Jim Lee. It's, I keep mentioning like Unmyeong, like Destiny Fate, and I think Jim Lee, as great as his Superman, as great as his Batman, as great as all those things are, Jim Lee's success as a comic book artist was launched by Wolverine. Jim Lee just drew the best Wolverine. And I still think that. I still think Jim Lee's, as great as this Byrne Wolverine is, it's pretty damn good. I mean, come on. This cover. So let me just get my other book here. I think I have it here somewhere. I wonder if it is in here. No, that's not it. I think it's here. Is that it? No, that's not it. Jeez, I'm gonna sift through all of this. All right, we'll look for it later. I've got a direct edition of this, and it's a pretty decent copy, but it's definitely a VF copy. There are a few spine ticks. It could use a press, but for the most part, it's high grade. But because we knew we wouldn't get a 9.8, I did not submit that book into CGC because I knew it wouldn't get it. I knew the most we could potentially get from that book would be a 9.0. In all likelihood, it'd be an 8.5. I don't think it'd be an 8. I mean, it could get an 8.0. I've seen cleaner books that I have get 8.0s. So that was always a potential. There was always a potential for that kind of grade to come back. So I just said, I'm going to keep it raw. I don't necessarily need that one. I mean, I do want this book slabbed for the collection, but again, if we're going to slab it, it has to be in the higher tier grading. So I'd want it at least in a 9.2 or higher. And that's what we have here. We have, with a press, this could come back. It's got one little spine break. It's really negligible, and it's got some other spine stresses, but again, with the press, it's not really color breaking. There's a little spine stress there. So we've got like two, I guess, noticeable spine issues. Outside of that, the corners are sharp. Everything looks really good. So again, this would definitely grade better than the current copy I have. It's a newsstand edition. Definitely worthy to send into the CGC. It won't be 9. It won't come back a 9.8. But for me, it's like to obviously want raw books to be able to send in and get that grade, but I'm not gonna obsess. If it comes back a 9.6 or it comes back a 9.2, it's kind of it's for the PC. That's great. That's what we want to display in the PC, something along those lines. So again, if we do end up submitting a book at some point to CGC or to CBCS, this will be among the books we send in. So happy with this one, man. So happy. All right, this last one, it's in pretty rough shape. I knew it wasn't going to be. Yeah, I knew it wasn't. From the photos, I could tell. We were looking at an 8.5 for sure, but this one looks like it would come back maybe an 8. It needs a press for certain, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would say 9 color breaking spine stresses. A couple of them are kind of really long and noticeable, which is cool. Again, it did definitely need a press, but yeah, we picked up Wolverine 88, and I don't want it to look like, with the timing and everything, it definitely looks like I was going after this book or something, but I wasn't. I was actually intending to hold off and wait till price cooled. And picking up at a price I wanted to pick it up at, not something that was inflated. Luckily for me, Craven took the condition and everything into consideration in terms of mocking up his trade values. And so, I think he placed this book, probably valued it around like trade value about $100 or so dollars, maybe a little less, which I thought was fair. And looking at it now, it's got its issues, but it's a newsstand edition. It's a newsstand edition, Wolverine 88. It's a book we've been wanting to have in the PC even before all this movie spec. So it's kind of always been there, along with these other Wolverine books. Just if you look at the Wolverine like run and think, okay, which books do we want to add to the collection? This Larry Hama, Adam Kubert cover and story. First meeting between Wolverine and I don't think it's the first meeting. It's what it is it's the first battle between the two. First, like just mano a mano battle. And I think that's where we're gonna get in the movie. We're gonna get a battle. Whether they join forces at the end or not, that remains to be seen. But we will see them go. And this is my hope. This is my hope if that movie, gets made and we see it, that we see a scene like this. We see, and in all indications, we'll get some fan gratification. So looking forward to that. Just again, this is a book I've been wanting, but now with all the spec and Wolverine, it's kind of fun to have a book like this and just watch all the speculation take place. And then, for me, the cherry on top would be to see this on the big screen, see that scene play out. So yeah, again, these are all sort of newsstand editions here. And I think if we're going to, for grading purposes, these are all books we could send in to get graded, but I think the ones that would warrant serious consideration are these three, because these are, again, I think would come back really high grade and would look fabulous slabbed in the collection. But at the same time, I think if I were to get this slabbed and it would come back high grade, it's something we would consider trading up for as well. It's a beautiful book, though. It's a beautiful book. Every time, the more and more I look at this cover, the more there's just stuff to look at with the animals, and it's cool. All right, so let me know what you think of this trade. What do you think? Did I get the better end? I mean, it doesn't even have to be better end. There's no way to, I guess, say one way or the other, but it is subjective, and so that's where I think your opinions matter. Let me know in the comments. Did Craven get the better deal, or did I get the better deal? And yeah, let us know what you think. So that is the end of this video. Just happy to add these books to my collection, and thanks for watching. See you later.